Mark Phillips and Grazina Harper of the Monroe County Public Defender's Office. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I'm an innocent man. I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times a prosecutor has not talked in court. What are the names of my prosecutors? Mark Phillips and Grazina Harper. This is a document that will arrive in your office via UPS, and you will send it back to me because you know I'm demanding you disclose the names of my prosecutors. This is called Vice. Vice District Attorney Sandra, Sheriff Todd Baggs to Judge Alex Renzi. So here's your email right here on the CC, Mark Phillips at monroecounty.gov, Grazina Harper at monroecounty.gov. So, and as I say this, Mark and Grazina, it's a siren going by where I live in this loft here because there's sirens going through the city of Rochester all throughout the day. I don't know if you can hear that on my microphone. That one is particularly loud. So you're going to receive this. Mark Phillips and Grazina Harper in the city of freaks that is Rochester, New York, with sirens going through the city 50 times a day. So, and that's not the case in Albany, New York, and Washington, D.C. So, here is the UPS. Open the envelope I sent to you, Mark Phillips of the Monroe County Public Defender's Office. Open the envelope I sent to you, Grazina Harper of the Monroe County Public Defender's Office. This is who it's going to in no particular order. This is the way they stapled it at UPS on Park Avenue, where I have been more than 100 times. What do you think I'm demanding using the Freedom of Information when I walk into that UPS from Sandra Doyle? The same thing I'm demanding from you, Mark Phillips and Grazina Harper. You have to decide if you're going to be independent and you're going to have morality and decency and integrity and you're going to oppose this Leviathan that is Sandra Doyle, or if you're going to audition to be an assistant district attorney. So, UPS, Jansen Dean Harris, the Director of Public Integrity, he's doing to me what you're doing to me, which I'll get to momentarily. So here you are, Grazina Harper, Monroe County Public Defender, 10 North Fitzhugh Street, Rochester, New York, 14614. Expected delivery date, 21 February, which is tomorrow. And you know what's going to happen, Grazina? On 22 February, 23 February, it's going to come back to me. Why, Grazina Harper? Because you're bankrupt, that's why. So Mark Phillips, Public Defender, ship date 20 February 2023. It's going to come back to me. Do you know why, Mark Phillips? Because you're bankrupt. Paul C. Metz from Penfield Town Court. Do you know, Grazina, when you go in there, you grovel before this $28,000 hack? I'll guess that you're paid twice as much as this $28,000 bald-headed widow. And I'm going to hold up a blank Freedom of Information law for what I'm going to demand of the Public Defender's Office regarding salaries at the Public Defender's Office, which she will refuse to provide. So here's James Humilly Jr. How was I charged with harassment second, Grazina and Mark? Do you know? Because I've talked about this 100 times, 200 times. I've lost track of how many times. I go to this gym, PW Fitness. I'm on the bench press. Up walks to me Jermaine L. Benman. He stands over me, punches down my head, snaps back. This is a violent attack upon me. What did I just harass? Andrew Reality arrives, who knows me because of my residence at 26 Sanders Farm Drive, where you have been, Grazina. We go out to the vehicle. Reality tells me to wait in the backseat of the vehicle. He marches Benman around to the side, and then Jermaine Benman says to me, I want to press charges against you. And with those 7 words, I'm charged with harassment second. Who did I harass? Because when I appeared before John P. Lomenzo Jr., and this is what's important, there is no public defender in there this day. And John P. Lomenzo Jr. did to me what Paul C. Metzer did to me, convening Penfield Town Court where there isn't a public defender for the express purpose of delivering me to jail as an innocent man. And you're going to go in there and you're going to grovel to these 2 sick, disgusting hacks that are about 70 years old, Paul C. Metzer and James P. Mully Jr. Oppose them, Grazina and Mark, and do your job. There's guilty and not guilty. I'm neither. I'm innocent. There's an assembly line of guilt in there, and you're going in there and you're groveling before these 2 hacks that have paid $28,000 and $34,000. And why? Lisa Press from New York State Supreme Court, Alex Renzi's clerk. What's going to happen to me is I'm going to get a document in the mail And Alex Renz is going to compel me to go over there because he's a supervising judge on Exchange Boulevard in Rochester. I'm going to show up. He's going to declare me guilty, and there I'm going to be in Monroe County Jail because that's already happened to me, Mark and Grazina. And you should know that, Mark, because you watched it. So Alex Renzi here. Trinity Ross is the United States Attorney for the Western District of New York, who's in Buffalo. I think I've sent her 15 parcels from UPS or USPS and FedEx. So every time I communicate with the sheriff and district attorney and what you send it back to me, I send it to Trinity Ross. This is Michelle Crowley, the district attorney's office. How was I indicted, Grazina? Because you called me and told me. Because Michael Houlihan perjured himself. Now pay attention. These are the corrupt cops that concocting charges that force you into courtrooms to defend innocent citizens. Michael Houlihan and Don Benedetto, Todd Bax, a $73,000 freak, an $85,000 freak, hid on the private property of my elderly neighbor. I leave my residence to go to Wegmans. Anything that happened before I get to the back porch is bullshit. What only matters is the back porch. And whatever they want to talk about and lie about at the sheriff's office is totally irrelevant. I walk alongside my residence. Benedetto and Houlihan come running at me. Pay attention, Grazina and Mark. I never stop running. So when I turn around and run away, and this is on the body cameras, footage that you sent to me, Grazina, I grab a hammer that's along my bike. I place my foot on the first of 3 steps to run across the back porch and through the sliding glass door. Michael Houlihan grabs my arm. The hammer I just grabbed goes up like this. I pull away. I run through the sliding glass door. And on the body camera footage of Michael Houlihan, I say, fuck you. I never stop running. And this is how I'm charged with attempted felony assault by Michael Houlihan. The grand jury is convened by Michelle Crowley at the district attorney's office. And when Michael Houlihan states to the grand jury that I swung a hammer on him on my back porch when I ran away the whole time, that's when Michael Houlihan perjures himself. I've included a link on YouTube about that. You can type his name, Michael Houlihan, on YouTube, and you can see me talking directly to him and to Todd Baxter. Attempted felony assault. Alex Renzi said there's no such thing as attempted felony assault. I don't know if that's true. He said it's either assault or it's not assault because it's a landmine of vagueness. It's such a gray area that anything could be attempted felony assault. I said this to you before on this Google product that is YouTube. Are you watching me and all? I will never know. Grazina and Mark, what are the names of our prosecutors? So, Lisa Gray, who's the counsel to the district attorney, I've been in contact with her directly too. What do you think I'm telling Lisa Gray to disclose to me, Mark and Grazina? The names of my prosecutors. Mark and Grazina, what are the names of my prosecutors? This is Sandra Dorley, who doesn't know if she's a Democrat or Republican. And this is Todd Baxter, who also doesn't know if he's a Democrat or Republican. What do you think about the character of Sandra Dorley and Todd Baxter? You have respect for these two? There's no reason ever today in the United States of America in the last 25 years to switch parties, and both of these cretins are party switchers. So the Freedom of Information Law, in this loft I live in, you can see right here, this is not everything. This is some more. This is my couch here. This couch I have. Both of those photos, I take a picture of the foil. I think I've written this 3,000 times. I don't know. I have to count it. So Mark Grazina, names of my prosecutors. Here's a key, UPS store, right here. So right here, Mark Grazina, 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, New York, 14607. Contact me here on the official letterhead of the Monroe County Public Defender's Office and disclose the names of my prosecutors, Grazina and Mark. Now, when I say disclose the names of my prosecutors, I've been on here, and I've sent this to your office and district attorney's office, pardon me. Freedom of Information Law, December 22nd, 2 months ago. You want to make a deal with the district attorney's office? This is corruption you're negotiating with. Always remember that. When you speak to an employee of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Mark Phillips and Grazina Harper, you're talking directly to corruption. And this is a reason why. Freedom of Information Law, December 22nd, 2022. The documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester, where John P. Lanza Jr. Penn Court, what is named the prosecutor. Total silence. I don't know if this is Julie Hahn because I've seen photographs of her. I will never forget what this assistant district attorney in total silence looks like, where you're not there, Grazina or Mark, and nobody from the public defender's office is notified. I believe this is Julie Hahn, but I don't know for sure, and I can be incorrect. Sandra Dorr is refusing to disclose to me if this is Julie Hahn, or if it's not, who's the prosecutor for John P. Lanza Jr. The prosecutor's not backing down. This is him. The documentation of the case for Christopher Chichester for Paul C. Metro in Penn Court, what is named the prosecutor, Sandra Dorr. Why did you use that language to me? Grazina, because you talk to him, right? And what is he saying to you? This is a psychopath. This is a sociopath. This is a fanatic. This is anything that's not normal. This boy. And you know who he is. What's his name, Grazina Harper? Tell me this boy's name. And the reason why I'm demanding that is that I will pursue his disbarment with the Appellate Division of State Supreme Court. I also go to the Attorney Grievance Committee on East Avenue in Rochester. What's his name, Grazina Harper? The prosecutor's not backing down in total silence. And you, Grazina, know he's not backing down in total silence as I'm delivered to jail. Where's your morality and your ethics and decency? Because this happened to anybody in your family. This happened to your husband. This happened to any friend. I guarantee you would be in a rage about anybody you know that you're close to being delivered to jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court. Just like my parents were for Alex Renzi. I'm at my temporary residence, and I'm at a temporary residence because my landlord, Giuseppe Spano and Anthony Spano, locked the doors and locked me out. I slept in Harris Island Park for 3 weeks. Freedom of information. A documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester, New York State Supreme Court for Alex Renzi. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra? He's refusing to provide a list of defense in the New York State Supreme Court because he's corrupt. This $208,000 fossil, who's about 70 years old, former employee of the district attorney's office, and he's a prosecutor's judge, and that's why Alex Renzi is so dangerous. So the next time you're in front of Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court and you're groveling before him, always remember what you have to say before Alex Renzi is totally irrelevant. He's with the prosecution every time. So, that's on December 22nd, Mark. And here's January 5th. The same thing. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester for Policy Metzer and Pamphlet Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Dorley. January 5th again. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester for Policy Metzer and Pamphlet Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Dorley. That's the boy, Grazina, whose name you know and can easily email me or send it to me on the official letterhead of the Public Defender's Office to my Park Avenue address, and you will refuse. Why, Grazina? Why are you refusing to disclose the names of my prosecutors? Why are you refusing to disclose the names of my prosecutors? Mark Phillips. Freedom of information on documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester, New York State Supreme Court for Alex R. Renzi. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Dorley? My last appearance before Alex Renzi. He said to me, "You're finished and done," which is not true, and this is why. The district attorney's office is a collection of psychopaths and sociopaths and gangsters, and there is somebody at that district attorney's office that will watch me or read the documentation I sent to the district attorney's office, and they'll force me into a courtroom like New York State Supreme Court for Alex Renzi or somewhere else with documentation. I'll be declared guilty when that prosecutor knows that prosecutor doesn't have to talk. If I was asked in elementary school, I went to Wing Street Elementary School in Suffolk County, Long Island, by any one of my elementary school teachers, can a citizen go to jail if a prosecutor doesn't talk in court? In elementary school, I would have said no. As an adult, not only do I say no, is that's ludicrous and insane. And there you are groveling before ludicrous and insane Paul C. Metzer in Penfield Town Court, Mark Grazina. There you are groveling before ludicrous and insane James McNulty Jr. in Penfield Town Court, Mark Grazina. And there you are groveling before $208,000 Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court. You don't even know you're groveling. So.
Sheriff Todd K. Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Dorley, New York State Supreme Court Judge Alex Renzi. My name is Chris Chichester. I just left the post office. You can see over my shoulder here on East Main Street, and I'm in communication with you with the Freedom of Information Law. There it is right there that you're going to sign for tomorrow. What I'm demanding from you, District Attorney Sandra Dorley, are the names of my prosecutors' silence. You've received this from me 30 plus times, including now for the 5th time in the last 10 days. And I'm emailing it to you. So you're receiving it on email. I'm on YouTube explaining why I'm demanding this information. And now again, you're getting this. This is also going to Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court, Paul C. Metzer in Penfield Town Court, and James McNulty Jr. in Penfield Town Court. I'm demanding a list of defendants in Penfield Town Court, and they are refusing to provide it to me. But they're right, Paul C. Metzer and James McNulty Jr. These two hacks are paid $28,000 and $34,000 respectively, and they're sitting there in that little room, District Attorney Sandra Dorley, without a table for a prosecutor, without a table for a defense attorney, without a witness box for testimony, and of course there's no jury of 12. How's Pemmican Town Court, Sandra Dorley? Have you been in this little room, you party switching diva? So this is it right here. In my hand, I'm showing it to you again because corruption needs to be reinforced with repetition. You're corrupt. Demanding names, salaries of every employee at the sheriff's office, district attorney's office. I'm demanding if you've used taxpayer dollars to settle sexual harassment lawsuits under Title VII of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. I'm demanding other information, such as the cost of sending Ryan Fisher to the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia. And you refuse to provide all this information to me. I'm a citizen, actively using my First Amendment right with the Freedom of Information law, and you are refusing time after time after time to disclose information. I can't even find out the names of my prosecutors with silence. This is your absolute and total nauseating, sickening corruption, Sandra Dorley, where you won't tell me the names of my prosecutors in a public proceeding. That's a court. And you, Todd Baxter, won't tell me the names of your fellow psychopaths that have violently attacked me. I've been violently attacked at Penfield Public Library by seniors. I know his name, but I do not know the name of your Monroe County Sheriff Office employee who attacked me at Wegmans when your 5 vehicles and 10 plus employees descended on me, including your employee that's a female with a Marine-style haircut and tattoos who can identify your Monroe County Sheriff Office employee that attacked me and had to get an MRI. So District Attorney Sandra Dorley, Todd Baxter, and Alex Renzi, Paul C. Metzer, and James Mully Jr., you're getting this tomorrow. You're going to sign for it. What you're going to do is when you receive these 18 Freedom of Information Law documents, you refuse to comply with every single one because you hacks exist above the law.
I can't even find out the names of my prosecutors. Silence. This is 2 months ago, I believe. I have to look at the date. But I've done this over and over and over for 18 months. You hacks are above the law. It's a cliche. Did you see that film with Steven Seagal? Because I love that film. Filmed in New York City, where my mother and father are from. I used to watch that on cable when it would come on. This is one scene when he walks into a bar and tears the whole place up, and I love that scene every time. It's fiction. And the reason why it's called above the law is because that cliche is true. Sandra Dorley's above the law. Todd Baxter's above the law. Alex Renzi's above the law. Paul C. Metzer and James P. Mully Jr. are above the law. And so are you, Mark Phillips and Grazina Harper, because I can't find out the names of my prosecutors. You know I'm using the law. Freedom of Information law. Where on it is my handwriting, where I'm saying to the district attorney's office, disclose the names of my prosecutors. Now, Mark Grazina, this is what's coming to your office. It's called Vice. And it's going to come back to me. And I'm going to send it to the public defender. And that's dated February 19th, 11:30 p.m. I made a copy of it today, and it's in the mail now. And you're going to send it back to me. Don't do that. Mark Phillips and Grazina Harper. What's coming to you, open it and look at it. Right here, February 16th. Todd Baxter, Sandra Dorley, the addresses. Read the attached PDF that is the Freedom of Information Law. Comply with the attached PDF that's the Freedom of Information Law. Disclose the names of my prosecutors. Silence. Resign. I'm not trying to be dramatic. They need to resign. They're violating the civil and constitutional rights of innocent citizens, and you're allowing them to do it. Mark Phillips and Grazina Harper. And then I have this YouTube here, Sheriff Todd Baxter, $16,000 pay raise, freak, $83,000 Shannon Meyer. I know her name because my dentist, Dr. Gloria Nichols, moved. You should know what I'm talking about when I say that, because Layla Kumar and Neeraj Shah moved into where her practice used to be, and they went to the sheriff's office about the parking lot I walked through next to my house 4,000 times. Am I New York's 4,000 time criminal? Grazina and Mark, and that's the same. Are the cops in the United States of America, Grazina, Harper, Mark Phillips, corrupt? Is Todd Baxter a corrupt cops? Are the cops at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office corrupt? The answer is yes every single time. Are you in such a delusional, psychotic fantasy land in 1984 that you don't know the district attorney's office and sheriff's office are corrupt? The answer is yes, you are. Because you, Grazina, Harper, Mark Phillips, are de facto employees of the district attorney's office. And when I say you're de facto employees, here you are, Grazina, returning this to me. Here you are, Grazina, refusing to open this, returning this to me. Here you are, Grazina, refusing to open this, returning this to me. Here you are, Grazina, again, refusing to open this. Here you are, Grazina, again, refusing to open this. Here you are, Grazina, again, refusing to open this. What are the names of my prosecutors, Grazina Harper? What are the names of my prosecutors, Grazina Harper? What are the names of my prosecutors, Grazina Harper? Mark Phillips. What are the names of my prosecutors? Here you are, Mark Phillips, refusing to open this again. Here you are, Mark Phillips, refusing to open this again. Here you are, Mark Phillips, refusing to open this again. What are the names of my prosecutors, Mark Phillips? What are the names of my prosecutors, Mark Phillips? What are the names of my prosecutors, Mark Phillips? What are the names of my prosecutors, Mark Phillips? Disclose the names of my prosecutors, Mark Phillips and Grazina Harper, and you'll continue to refuse. And I'm going to send this YouTube transcript to the United States Department of Justice. I'm going to send everything because I've been on YouTube more than 100 times. And Jance McNair is the director of the Office of Public Integrity, who has no integrity because you have company in being bankrupt. Mark Phillips and Grazina Harper, because Jance McNair returns to me. Jance McNair again returns to me. Jance McNair again returns to me. Jance McNair again returns to me. And Jance McNair again returns to me. Mark Grazina, this is called a Freedom of Information Law. I'm going to fill this out, and I'm going to demand the salaries for every employee at the Monroe County Public Defender's Office. What do you pay? Mark Phillips, Grazina Harper. And the public defender is going to refuse to comply. I had to write this, 20 plus times before Sheriff Todd Baxter finally complied. That's insane. So there is going to be a YouTube I'm going to do called One Judge. It should be attached to one I'm going to send to you called One Judge. Because when I eventually move back to Albany, I hope to do this in the next 2 to 4 weeks or 6 weeks. I don't know yet. I will ask to meet with members of the New York Assembly and New York Senate, both of whom are my former employers, because one judge should never determine guilt or innocence. That's outrageous. Because one judge determining guilt or innocence leads to the destruction of a life, which has happened to me. I'm fundamentally altered and radically changed from the person I was when I was 47 years old in 2012 and I moved here to Monroe County to be with my then girlfriend, Laura Riley, where we lived in Webster. This is the corruption of the cops, Grazina and Mark. And I'll end with this. Laura and I moved to Penfield because of what happened with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. We're upstairs one night, we're on the second floor, and we lived above Ed, who had Tourette syndrome. And he would scream and throw things and do other things. We were in the process of moving because of him. So it's about 2 o'clock in the morning. We're both asleep. And Ed started to scream and yell. And about 15 minutes later, there's a psychotic pounding on my door. So I don't know what this is, past midnight. I get up. I'm in my pajamas. From the bed, I walk to the door. My girlfriend Laura's behind me. I open up the door. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee grabs me by the collar, pulls me into the hallway, and slams me up against the wall. So then I took my finger as I came off the wall, and I took the tip of my finger, and I got it as close to his eyes, just like this. My finger was as close to his eyes as it is right now. And I said, the only reason you're allowed to do this to me is because you're wearing that ice cream man suit. They immediately left. And when I closed the door, my girlfriend Laura started to cry. This is one of the worst moments of my life. She's the last person on planet Earth should ever cry. And if you've seen people that you really, truly love in your life cry, you know what it can do to you. And it should always be about that person that's in pain. It's not about you. But I'm just telling you, it's a violent attack upon me by these psychopaths, throwing me up against the wall when all I did is answer the door. And that's why we moved from Webster to Penfield, where I don't know that Penfield Town Court is at the end of the hallway from the Penfield Public Library. And the reason why we moved to Penfield is Laura's hired at the Penfield Public Library. So even though my girlfriend I live with works at the Penfield Public Library, I do not know at the end of the hallway from the entrance I would go in to see her is Penfield Town Court. Redirect defendants away from Penfield Town Court. Grazina, Harper, Mark Phillips just refused to send defendants in there. And you could do this for any number of reasons, because it's a corrupt little star chamber. Mark Phillips and Grazina Harper. So, I'll end with this. So I have to continue saying names. I could get physically ill. I walk into the Penfield Public Library because I'm using the scanner to scan documents just like the ones I held up that were in those envelopes you refused to open. I'm being stalked into the Penfield Public Library by $75,000 Richard J. Seaman. I stand up at the computer. Seaman runs at me. He extends his arm like this, slams his arm at the side of my head. So it's the force of Richard J. Seaman's arm slamming me in the head. I fell backwards, then my head hit the ceramic tile of the library floor. And then I frog marched out of the library in front of the circulation desk where I was thinking, I'm so glad Laura doesn't work here anymore. Outdoor and down the hallway, and there's Paul C. Metzler convening Penfield Town Court where there is not a prosecutor from the district attorney's office present. She declares me guilty of something. I believe I know what it is, and I'm not going to say it. And then I'm driven to Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. This is insane. Grazina, Harper, Mark Phillips. Well, I'm finally attacked by Richard C. Seaman, a real crime. And this sick, disgusting, skinhead, bald-headed widow, Paul C. Metzler, sends me to Livingston County Jail where I don't live. And then when I'm told in Livingston County Jail the reason I'm there, I'm not surprised. For my physical safety. Because I've already been attacked by a Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee at the jail. So I had to get a new Social Security card because everything is gone. I hope what has happened to me, Grazina, Harper, Mark Phillips, never happens to you or anyone in your life you like or love.